What if everything you've ever believed about reality was a lie, not a mistake, a lie? What if your struggles weren't because of bad luck, poor timing, or missed opportunities, but because you've been observing the wrong version of your life into existence, not once, but every single day, every single breath, collapsing the same story over and over again without even realizing it? Let this land. You're not just living in reality, you're generating it, sculpting it, programming it through your attention, your emotions, your identity. And the most dangerous part? You've been doing it unconsciously. We've been taught that life happens to us, that we're victims of circumstance, prisoners of past decisions, pawns in some cosmic game. But what if that's the greatest illusion of all? What if the truth has been hidden in plain sight, wrapped in the language of science, whispered by mystics, encoded in your own biology? Let me say this as clearly as possible. You are not a bystander in this universe. You are the mechanism of creation. And everything, absolutely everything, is responding to you. Not to what you say, not to what you hope for, but to who you are being, moment by moment. Now that you've heard this, something inside you already knows it's true. You've felt it, haven't you? Those moments where time bends, coincidences line up, manifestations appear like magic. That wasn't luck. That was alignment. And the reason it doesn't happen all the time is not because it's rare. It's because your vibration isn't consistent. This is not just a motivational speech. This is a wake-up call, a spiritual siren, because once you remember who you are, you can never go back to sleep. Let's begin with a truth that quantum physics have already confirmed. Reality is not fixed. It is fluid. It is a sea of infinite possibilities until you observe it. At the subatomic level, nothing is solid. Particles aren't really particles. They are waves of potential. Probabilities, possibilities, outcomes waiting for your command. And the moment you focus, the moment you observe with emotion, that potential collapses into one outcome, one event, one reality. This is not spiritual fluff. This is the observer effect. And it's not just happening in laboratories. It's happening in your bedroom, in your conversations, in your bank account, in your body, because your observation is not neutral. It is vibrational, and that vibration is a command. So ask yourself right now, what have I been commanding? You say you want abundance, but are you vibrating lack? You say you want love, but are you observing loneliness? You say you want freedom, but are you broadcasting fear? The field does not respond to your words. It responds to your frequency. It mirrors your coherence or your chaos. It doesn't discriminate. It doesn't judge. It simply reflects. This is where most people get trapped. They visualize, affirm, pray, but beneath the surface, they doubt, they ache, they beg, and so the field receives that emotional signal and reflects it right back. This is why nothing changes, not because you're doing it wrong, but because your frequency is fragmented. Let's be real. You can say, I'm abundant 1,000 times, but if your heart is clenched in anxiety, the field doesn't hear your words. It hears your fear. You can dream about the future, but if you're still vibrating with the pain of your past, you're looping the same script, no matter how beautiful your vision board looks. Here's what changes everything. You don't get what you wish for. You get what you rehearse, emotionally, energetically, consistently. Your inner world is a broadcast tower, and the signal you send becomes the life you live. So let's go deeper. Every morning you wake up, you're given a choice. You can remember the past, rehearse your problems, tune into fear, stress, survival. And the moment you do, your brain, your body, your nervous system, everything collapses into the version of reality that matches that frequency. And like clockwork, you relive the same day. Different clothes, same script. Or you can do something radically different. You can wake up and feel gratitude for what hasn't even happened yet. You can feel the freedom of a timeline you haven't walked, but already own. You can breathe in peace, not because it's logical, but because it's available. You can embody trust before the evidence arrives. This is the art of quantum alignment. Not forcing the universe to give you what you want, but becoming the version of you who already has it. It's not a wishful thinking. It's vibrational embodiment. And it's the difference between chasing and attracting. You see, in the field, time doesn't move like it does on your calendar. Past, present, future, they coexist. Every version of you already exists. The successful one, the healthy one, the awakened one. They're not out of reach. They're out of frequency. And your job is not to strive harder. It's to tune better. The cleaner your signal, the faster reality conforms. Let's talk about coherence. Your brain is powerful, but your heart is the transmission center of your being. Research shows the electromagnetic field of the heart is thousands of times stronger than that of the brain. It extends feet beyond your body. And it's not just broadcasting, it's communicating with the field around you. When your thoughts and your emotions align, when your mind and heart speak the same language, you become a clear signal, a tuned frequency, a living code. But when your thoughts say yes and your emotions say no, the signal becomes distorted, confused, weak. This is why affirmations often don't work, because there is no emotional alignment, no coherence, no signal strength. The universe doesn't understand contradiction. It understands consistency. You're either broadcasting trust or doubt, clarity or chaos, abundance or lack. And the field will always mirror back the stronger of the two. So ask yourself now, what am I practicing? What am I stabilizing? Not in my mind, but in my energy, because the quantum field doesn't speak English. It speaks vibration. Let's make this tangible. Imagine two people walk into the same room. One is vibrating certainty, peace, and confidence. The other is vibrating desperation, lack, and self-doubt. They both want the same thing: connection, opportunity, abundance. But the room doesn't respond to what they want. It responds to what they carry. And the one who's aligned, they don't even have to speak. Their frequency speaks first. You've felt it before. You've walked past someone and sensed their energy before they open their mouth. That's not magic. That's resonance. That's coherence. And it's happening all the time, whether you're conscious of it or not. So the question is, are you broadcasting alignment, or are you leaking energy through fear, attachment, and control? Because here's the truth. The universe doesn't deliver based on your timeline. It delivers based on your vibration. And the more you try to manipulate, to chase, to force, the more you push what you want further away, because trying is built on the belief that you don't yet have it. And that belief becomes your frequency. This is the paradox most people miss. The moment you try too hard, you're no longer in coherence. You've shifted from embodiment into resistance. You're broadcasting uncertainty, and the field reflects it back with surgical precision. Now imagine this instead. You feel it. You trust it. You let it go. That's not passivity. That's mastery. You've stopped asking if it's working because you know you are. You've stopped searching for signs because you've become the sign. You've stopped looking for proof because your body has already received the message. This is the power of surrender, not as a weakness, but as a strategy. The most powerful signal in the universe is not force, it's resonance. Let's talk about the timeline. In quantum mechanics, the future is not something that comes. It's something you collapse. Every choice, every focus, every emotion, it's folding time inward or pushing it away. You're not walking toward your future. You're choosing which version of the future comes to meet you. And here's the most liberating truth you'll ever hear. You're not waiting on the universe. The universe is waiting on your coherence. It's not your effort that changes things. It's your embodiment. Your frequency is the password. Every time you say, "Why isn't it here yet?" you reinforce the delay, because that question comes from lack, from separation, from resistance. But when you begin to say, "It's already mine," and your body believes it, the gap collapses. It stops being a future timeline. It becomes your current vibration. And reality has no choice but to reorganize around that truth. You don't have to know how. You don't have to map the route. You simply have to tune your signal again and again until the new frequency becomes the only one you live in. This is not delusion. This is discipline. And every timeline that looks like a miracle is simply the reward of vibrational consistency. Now let's get personal. What have you been practicing emotionally? Not what you've been dreaming, not what you've been hoping, but what you've been repeatedly feeling, expecting, embodying, because that is your true meditation. That is your real prayer. That is the code you're broadcasting. The quantum field is always listening, but it doesn't respond to words. It responds to patterns, and patterns become identity. You're not just the observer. You are the observed. You are both sender and receiver, cause and effect, witness and wave. So ask yourself honestly, what have I been becoming? Every time you repeat a belief, "I always struggle, I never get ahead," it's not working. You're not just stating facts. You are instructing the field. You're coding your life in real time. And the field, being obedient and neutral, says, "Yes," as you say. This is why transformation doesn't begin with action. It begins with observation. It begins when you stop reacting to what is and start observing what could be. And you do it so faithfully, so consistently, so emotionally, that the field has no choice but to mirror it. This is not about pretending. It's about shifting your center of gravity from survival to creation, from doubt to certainty, from hoping to knowing. Let's make this even simpler. Every single moment, you're telling the quantum field who you are, not with your mouth, not with your vision board, but with your vibration, your breath, your posture, your self-talk, your expectations, your emotional tone. These are all signals, all instructions, and most people are broadcasting static. They think one thing, feel another, act from a third. No wonder the field is confused. But coherence? Coherence is clarity. It's when your thoughts, feelings, words, and body say the same thing. I already am. I already have. I already trust. I already know. This isn't arrogance. It's spiritual physics. You're collapsing time and rewriting identity. Let's go even deeper. Neuroscience confirms what mystics have taught for centuries. What you rehearse, you become. When you consistently feel gratitude, abundance, love, you wire your brain to expect it. You train your nervous system to recognize it. You broadcast the signal before the evidence arrives. And when you do that often enough, the evidence starts appearing. Not because the universe suddenly woke up, but because you did. Your vibration became the doorway. Your coherence became the portal. And that version of you, the one who used to beg and wait and wonder, is gone, replaced by the one who knows, who walks with vision, who doesn't chase timelines, but collapses them. Now, let's strip it all down. everything you've experienced up until now. Your wins, your wounds, your breakthroughs and breakdowns were not random. They were responses to the energetic code you've been carrying, the story you've been repeating, the identity you've been rehearsing. Let that truth echo. You haven't just lived your life, you've been programming it. Every pattern, every loop, every recurring outcome, it's not a curse, it's a reflection, a frequency, of familiarity, of unconscious observation. And here's the shift. When you finally realize that you've been collapsing the same version of reality over and over again, not because it's what you want, but because it's what you've practiced, you gain something more valuable than any manifestation. You gain power because if you've been creating reality unconsciously, you can now begin to create it deliberately. That's what this moment is for, to remember who you are, to remember what you've always been. Not a beggar of fate, but a commander of frequency. The past does not hold you. Your repeated observation of it does. So stop telling the story of lack. Stop rehearsing unworthiness. Stop emotionally practicing the life you no longer want. And start broadcasting the frequency of the life that's already alive in the field, waiting for your coherence. That future version of you is not far. It's not a fantasy, it's a frequency. And every time you choose to observe it, feel it, breathe it, become it, you collapse the distance, you narrow the gap, you accelerate the echo. So now, breathe, feel your heart beat, not as a reaction, but as a transmitter. Feel the intelligence that pulses through your being. Feel the stillness behind the noise. Feel the clarity rising inside you, because something deep within already knows. This isn't just information, this is activation. You've heard it not with your ears, but with your soul. And now there's a choice to make. You can go back to sleep. Scroll to the next video. Let this be another moment of inspiration that fades, or you can burn it in. Let this message become a new command. Let it carve a new rhythm into your nervous system. Let it become your new language, not with words, but with energy, because the field is not waiting for more effort. It's waiting for more embodiment. And embodiment means this: you don't try, you become. You don't wish, you align. You don't ask, you vibrate. And the moment your entire being agrees, your thoughts, your feelings, your body, the field responds instantly, unmistakably, unstoppably. So ask yourself right now, am I observing from fear or am I observing from remembrance? Because the observer effect is not about controlling reality. It's about collapsing into the version of you that no longer doubts, the one who no longer chases signs, because they are the sign, the one who doesn't seek permission, because they are the vibration of certainty itself. Let that identity take the lead now. Let it speak for you. Let it walk for you. Let it command the field for you, because you are not separate from the universe. You are its expression, its echo, its embodiment. You're not hoping for alignment. You are alignment. So breathe again. And as you exhale, release everything that is not coherent with your highest frequency. The fear, the timeline pressure, the need to prove, let it go, because what you desire is already here. And it's been waiting, not for you to do more, but for you to remember more. And now that you've remembered, the shift begins. If this transmission has activated something inside you, don't just think about it. Don't just share it. Live it. Comment below. I am the observer. I am the code. Not as a hope, but as a declaration. Because you don't manifest from your wishes. You manifest from your embodiment, And when you become the version of you who already lives the life you once dreamed of, reality has no choice. It obeys. The field is not far. It is you. And now you remember.